Okay, so this is the beautiful bundle of papers and fabrics and fibers and laces from batch number 2. It was a larger bundle I did, and so I wanted to share with you all the goodies now that everything's been dried and ready to go. So let's start with this big piece first. So this is what I had wrapped around the outside of the bundle. And please ignore all of the peripheral. I'm in the middle of a bunch of projects, of course, as we all are all the time. So this is this was a flour sack towel, and the yellow that you're seeing here is from some of the different things I've been putting on there, like the turmeric, and you can see the outline of the rusty safety pins, the marks that it did. I love the mark making that I got with that. Trying to hold this where you can see it really good. It just turned out just lovely. So of course you can, cut this apart, rip it apart, use it in a whole piece as it is, do with it what you want. Just what you normally would do with fabric and things like that. So just really, really cool, and both sides look great. And then the holes you see are from when I put the safety pins in, just to, not necessarily to keep it closed, but to just kind of make more marks. And I was intentionally wanting those holes. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show them to you clearly or not. But there's some holes right there. I wanted those in there. So that was just another form of mark making. So I was happy and pleased with that. So there's this one. And then we have, I'll try not to make this too super long. This is the sari silk, and it's kind of stiff, but just, you can just put it in your hands like this and kind of soften it up if you want it to be a little bit softer. But this is how the sari silk turned out. Really, really lovely. Just lovely. So there's that. And then this is some cheesecloth. It really took the rusting marks really well too, as you can see on there. I'm trying to keep this out of frame, the other stuff, so you can have a stuck to my bracelet, so I can kind of have a clear view. Here's just some more sari silk, and then this is just some of the different, well, this is what the string looked like originally, and that's what it looks like after it was in the dye bath. There's just some more of that. And then just some bits of lace, like that, and then just some more. This was white lace, and then I guess you guys already know that because you saw me put these bundles together pretty much. So, but there's that. You can see the turmeric on there. It's really, really pretty. I love it. I'm not really a yellow fan at all, but I do like how that looks. And this, I don't know if this was like, here's just some more lace there. I don't know if this is like diaper material or burp rag. I don't know what it is. I got it from one of my girlfriends, part of a birthday thing, a bunch of different fabrics and fibers and stuff. But it was white originally, and look at how cool that looked. And it kind of got almost like a little bit of a crusty on parts of it because I did dry all this stuff in the oven. And I just think it turned out really, really cool. I love how it looks. So this is going to be a lot of fun too. I already have an idea for this, which I'll share when I get to that video. To that one. And this here was, I actually have that ball of stuff right here. This is how this originally looked. And then after the dye bath, of course, and you can even see the marks on there from the paper clips and the different metal bits that I had in there to do additional mark making. There's that. And then this is just some more different types of textiles and materials there. Some more lace, some more of that same there, and just some more lace there. There's this one, and I think I mentioned this, maybe I didn't say it in this video, but maybe to a video to one of my girlfriends, but I'm not really a fan of this particular lace because I don't like the shiny part in the middle. I mean, it's like bridal lace, as our bridal material, like satiny or something, just because it doesn't fit with my aesthetic really. But obviously you can alter this stuff and kind of, make it more your style or whatever. So my plan is to I will cut this each side off and use either side. In the middle I'm going to keep and just use it for backing on some of my smaller slow stitch projects, I think, because even after the eco dye, I still don't like it for my projects because it's just still too shiny for me. But I just thought I'd mention that. This is more of kind of the same material. I just cut it apart. I think it was like some curtains or something my friend told me. But look at the gorgeous marks on there. And it might be kind of hard to tell some of the color. Let me grab a piece of white paper. Oh, here we go. You can kind of maybe see a little bit better off the brown. You can kind of see more of the from the brown craft paper. You can see the colors in there from all the different things I put in the bath. Really, really cool. So I like how that turned out. And then this is more, but each one has the same material, but the marks are different. So I wanted to show them to you too, so you can see that, how those turned out. Let me hold this down, actually, probably easier. So there's that piece. And then this one really has a lot of the turmeric on it. And then more of the holes from me pinning stuff together. And then this is flour sack towel here, just a half of one. And you can see the colors there. And there's no marks on this as far as like rust, because of, what I did with this one is this was just a half of a scrap, so I just rolled this up and just did it on its own in the bath. I didn't put any rusty stuff in there, so that's why there's no marks on that. And then we're almost done with the fabrics, and we're going to get to the papers. I'm trying not to be like super fast, but I also don't want to be, you know, normal Abby slow, because I'm trying not to make this too long, so I'm not sure how long the first part's going to be where I'm putting all the stuff together. But so there's that. But here's this little bit of lace too. I just love the different colors and hues and stuff. It just turned out so lovely. I'm very, very pleased. This is just some vintage linens there. And the fronts and the backs on these are different marks too. Even though it's the same item that marked it, it's just going to look different because of what was stacked on top of it or below it. So it's really cool. You kind of get really fun prints. This is probably one of my favorites from this batch as far as on the fabric. This is some vintage linen. It was a tablecloth. You can kind of see the design in there. And those are just some rusty, skinny old nails that I had, and I just laid those down. I think that's really cool mark making. I love it, love it, love it. And that's the back side. So even though it's, you know, you can still see them kind of through, but you don't see it as dark because the nails were on this side, and here you can see the imprint for some other rusty things that I had. So it's really fun what you get. And then here's that same material with paper clips marks on there. I'll show you the back. And this is a little bit more of a ghosting because this is a little bit thicker material than the others that I used. Here's that side, and then here's this side. And then this is a piece from a blouse that I thrifted a little over a year ago. It was white originally. And I got some really cool marks on some of the papers because I layered this in between them. So I'll point those out when I come across them if I can think of it. But there's that, so that's really fun. And then just a couple more pieces of fabric, and we're going to get to the paper. This is just another part of a vintage linen. And so because the turmeric's on there, these were pieces that were on more on the outer side, so which I like. And there was obviously a piece of paper right there that kind of gave that imprint. Plus the turmeric seeps down into your bundle too, so you get some really cool marks. All right, that's it for the fabrics. Let's put that over here. And papers, I think I'll zoom in just a little bit so I don't have to hold them up as much. Let me get these out of the way so it's not as distracting. So we can just focus on the paper. All right. And I'm not going to say what each paper is because it doesn't matter. I'm just going to show them to you. So, well, maybe a couple of my will, so you kind of know. But you also saw me put some of these together. But this is file folder that was originally coffee dyed. But look at the really cool marks on there. Isn't that awesome? And I love because some of the dye bath didn't seep into this to cover completely, which is a really cool look. So I like that. There's this here. I'm still holding them up even though I zoomed in. I'm such a dork. And then there's that. I can cut this in half if I want to use it as it is. Really, really cool rusty bit there. And then move this a little closer. Just, I mean, it looks like there are still paper clips and safety pins on the paper when you look at it in real life. You can see that deep impression you get, and that happens because the pressure and the tightness that you get when you are wrapping your bundle right before you put it in an eco bath. So that's the dye bath. So that's a really cool way to get some deeper marks if you want to do that. You can really see that it's kind of, you know, poking up there. There's some dimension to it. Really, really cool. So there's that. And then some of the papers, I didn't put rusty stuff in between, so some of them just have the really cool marbling and effects of the dye bath. This was just an extra paper. I was doing a test print of something, and I didn't want to waste it, so I thought I'd run it through. The ink, it kind of got jammed, the paper, so that's ink. But I wanted to use it because I can still use this on a project. So I've done things as thin as actual dress pattern paper, which you'll see here in a moment, to things, probably the thickest things are probably old bingo cards and the file folders, and it all works. So there's just a bunch of different envelopes that I did, different sizes and different colors. I didn't open mine up, but you could definitely open yours up and get marks on the inside of the flap if you wanted to do that. And here, this is a card. This is actually from Joann's. Some of their card things and the craft envelopes that are in there. And look how cool that is. I mean, this is so cool for like invitations for something. I just love how that looks. Really, really fun. This is just a regular standard business envelope. Yeah, let's see here. And these are some envelopes that I get like from the thrift store, and I always grab them because they're great to use in all kinds of projects, but I wanted to throw some in here as well. I mean, all of this stuff was in the same exact dye bath, but just different layers and different fabrics and things in between. And you can just see the difference that you get on each piece is truly its own work of art, and it's just divine. I mean, look at that. Look at how gorgeous that is. Isn't that awesome? And the marks on there are from the pan that I dried them on in the oven, because I thrift old cookie sheets and stuff to use for my coffee dyeing and stuff, because I don't use my household things for craft things. There's more of those skinny nails on there. And I think this is the last of the envelopes here. So just really, really fun. And you can iron these if you want them to be a little bit flatter, if you don't want them to be quite that thick. And then here's this one. This is some tissue paper from Hobby Lobby. It's that print tissue paper, so there's that. And sometimes you'll get some tearage and rippage, which I think is just all part of it. Lovely rusty marks. There's just some book pages. And this is thick too. This is actually watercolor paper. This is, these are bits from some eco printing I did. The prints didn't turn out as good as I liked. So I kept it, of course, but I just put it in here. So this is really thick too, and it worked just great. So you can use any thickness of paper that you want to use, or fabrics or anything. There's this restaurant card, book page. Try to go a little faster. Sorry guys if am I going too slow. Not that these aren't exciting, but you know, they're not as fun as the ones with the marks and stuff. So this is actually Italian straw paper that I ordered a couple years ago from Roxy with Roxy Creations. I'll link all of her social media below since I'm mentioning her, and she sells it in her shop, and I love working with it. I've done stuff, this is paper from the 1800s. I've done some really old delicate papers, and it comes out just fine, in case you're wondering. This isn't the tissue pattern paper, but it's the instructions that come in it, so there's that. So you can kind of see that. Just some more, I mean, look at the marks, because of how the pressure I put, you can kind of see it poking up. I love that. So you can control that to some degree by just the pressure you put on your bundles and when you're smashing them down. And even though some of the dye bath didn't get into some of the middle part, I love it. I think that's great. If you wanted to ensure that it really did, you could just either do a deeper basin or, you know, a smaller bundles if you don't have like a super deep basin to use. If that is something you want to try. But again, you can't like really control. It's going to do kind of what it wants, which is the beauty of it. This is some 1800s book edge paper. And this is just receipt tape. That was white. I just love the parts that are kind of torn and marks from different parts of the other elements that were in the bundle. And then this is just some old craft like receipt tape. And it just looks so, so cool. And I just tore different, here's some more of that straw paper. I just tore different sizes and whatnot because I just wanted to have options for different projects and things. So there's really no rhyme or reason to why there's so many different sizes and whatnot. And then This is the last of kind of the papery stuff. Now we're going to kind of get into the thicker, smaller things like tags, and then some of the more delicate things like the tissue paper and vellum and stuff like that. Because they all kind of had different drying times, so that's why mine are separated like this, because of that reason. So there's that. Look how cool that is. It's just so awesome. I just love it so much. All right, so now here are those white tea bags. Those just turned out fantastic. I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then here are just some regular tea bags that I layered in between. They turned out great. This one's not as dark because it was in a different spot in the dye bath, but it's still cool nonetheless. You know, it's got some marks on it still, as well as this one. There. And then now kind of for some of the more delicate type papers. This is, it's a combination of typing paper, some old vellum paper, and some deli paper, but it's like older stuff, so just so I won't have to tell like every single piece, but I love that sound you get. It's awesome. Look at that. Oh, that's a piece of paper. I thought that was a metal thing still stuck to it. So this is the Dress Actual Tissue Pattern Paper, and I will show this to you separate. You can do something as delicate as that, and it comes out just great. I mean, look at that. It's just so awesome. I just am so in love with this type of process. And there's just some more of the tissue pattern paper. This is some old typing paper. It has a watermark in it, but I don't think you can really see it from this angle, but there's that. These are some, oh, sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. These are some glassine bags, which work great. You can still open them if I can find the right side. If I can find the right side. I can't tell which side is opens here because it's smashed down so much. Anyway, so you can still open the glassine bag if you want to use it for packaging or something like that, if you want to do that. That's an option for creative packaging ideas if you want to do that, or for journals and things. So that just is so awesome. I love it. Love it, love it. More of that tissue paper from Hobby Lobby. This is some handmade paper. I didn't make this, I bought it, but it's handmade paper. It's real delicate. You can see the leaves and fibers and stuff in there. Turned out really cool. And there's a key. You can see the impression of a key on there. And just another bit of that. Actually, yeah, this is the same paper. And this is just a real thin receipt, some doilies, which turned out fantastic. I was so pleased. I mean, I was pleased with everything, but I was really happy with how well the doilies actually stood up in there. So, I mean, look at that deep impression. I know I keep saying this, but it just is just so crazy. This is the second time I've seen all the papers. So, the first time like in real good daylight, so it's kind of the first time I've seen it. Like, I rub on this, and it feels like there's a paper clip on the other side. It's just crazy. I love it. And then there's this one. Sometimes you lose a little bit when the dye bath, but we can also use little bits of paper in our projects too, because nothing goes to waste. This is some old typing paper here, a little super crinkly. And here's another glassine bag. And this is like from an old railroad company receipt book. This is like the carbon piece. So that turned out really good. That was really thin too. I wasn't sure how that was going to work, but it turned out great. Here's another one. This was originally yellow, the paper. This is one of the brown glassine bags. So that turned out really cool too. This is, I think, I'm not sure what kind of paper this is. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but there's that. And then this paper here is some Chinese calligraphy paper that I wanted to play with and see how it would work in the dye bath. So you can see the deep impressions there too, really cool. And then I didn't mean for this shape to get in there, but it must have fell in because I didn't want quite such a modern looking shape or whatever. So but anyway, so it's still cool nonetheless though. So there's that. And then the last little bit, and I'll be able to wrap up this video of Eco Dye Bath batch number 2, are just like tags and, you know, playing cards, things like that. So these are just some little tags that I did. These are some Tim Holtz cut apart papers that I wanted to put in there. And then these are just, you know, your standard shipping tags here. I mean, look how cool they turned out. It's just so awesome. This is part of that blouse. that I thrifted and I cut apart that I was telling you about. And the fronts and the backs are just so unique. Just so cool. This is an old time card. And then these are the plain cards. Now they didn't do this until I put them in the oven. If I would have let them just kind of air dry, they wouldn't have come apart like this. I'm not bothered by this because I can glue it down if it bugs me, which it doesn't. I like the way that's kind of curled up. I could take my tiny attacher and staple it. I could stitch it down. All kinds of options you could do. But I wanted to kind of see how plain cards would fare, and I'm really pleased with it. Or I could go ahead and continue taking it apart and just have a thinner piece of plain card to work with too. These are some coin envelopes. Another shipping couple tags, not shipping tags, well I guess so, you could call them shipping tags I suppose. There. Just more of the Timmy cut apart papers. And just some old sheet music. And it's another piece of Timmy's paper. This was kind of a craft color to begin with. This is another bit of that vintage book page paper from the 1800s. I love it, so pretty. More of the craft receipt tape. And this is, as you can see, a railroad company check. So that was really cool to put in there. Canceled check. And a couple, or maybe I thought I did two of these. Maybe it's in the other bundle. But these are the card catalogs. These are like true vintage card catalog things. So there's that. And then just some more tags. So anyway, everything is really great. I'm very, very pleased with how everything turned out. I'm excited to use these in some upcoming projects and make some smaller bundles and send some as Happy Mail to some of my girlfriends. There's some more of the blouse on there and that kind of thing. So I hope you enjoyed watching me do Eco Dye Bath batch number 2 and all of the different materials and fabrics and fibers and things like that I used, and just to kind of show you some fun ways that you can use different teas and spices and things of that nature in coffee and tea and all that kind of stuff to create some really unique kind of one-of-a-kind individual pieces of art that you can incorporate into all kinds of projects and things like that. So, and I will be offering these. My husband's almost done with working on my website. And I know I've been saying that for a couple of years, but it's my fault that it's taken so long because I kind of procrastinated on a little bit of it and stuff. So, but anyway, so I'm going to be offering probably not these 2 batches because I kind of want to use these for specific projects. That's why I did it. But in the future, I'm going to be offering smaller bundles and things of a variety of these types of things on my website. So if you're interested in anything like that, you can contact me now by email if you want, which is purplecottagecrafts@gmail.com. You can instant message me on my Purple Cottage Crafts Facebook page or on my Instagram if you want to do that, or leave me a comment below, whichever you want to do if you're interested, because I can start doing bundles ahead of time. Price and stuff will kind of depend on what materials I'm using, especially if it's like all vintage type of stuff, but it's going to be reasonably priced. So that way, because I know not everybody either A, has the time or the desire to do this, or the means to do it, or the space to do it. And just like people sell coffee dyed paper and tea dyed paper, it's kind of the same thing. So, and this is really fun. I really enjoy doing it. Anyway, all right, so I'm going to wrap this one up. Hopefully it wasn't too long. And then I will get Eco Dye Bath batch number 1 up first, even though I'm filming number 2, the final for number 2 first. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you'll see both of them up on my channel. And if you have any questions or anything, just leave them in the comment section below. Happy to answer what I can. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye for now. Bye.